At 4, Senate Minority Whip John Thune will be the new Republican Senate leader and the majority leader of the upper chamber in the new Congress. In January, he will succeed Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell, who is the longest serving party leader in Senate history. Now, the South Dakota senator received at least 27 votes from the 53-member conference during a secret ballot in the old Senate chamber that was held this morning. The majority of GOP senators did not disclose ahead of time who they were casting their ballots for.
It's a new day in the United States Senate, and it's a new day in America. The American people have loudly rejected the failed policies of the Biden, Harris, Schumer agenda. And this Republican team is united. We are on one team. We are excited to reclaim the majority and to get to work with our colleagues in the House to enact President Trump's agenda.
Senator Thune also releasing a statement today saying that in part he is extremely honored to have earned the support of his colleagues to lead the Senate.